Hey guys and girls, I don't know who's on. Welcome to another edition of Rebel TV. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about what we can do. I really want to get some opinions on what we're going to do because things are going exactly as planned, exactly like we predicted, and exactly as horrible as it can be in Europe right now. I want to address that today. I didn't know how to go about this, and a friend of mine, he said, "Go show some news about what's happening in Denmark and in Europe and all that." And I found a couple of news stories, but I don't really feel like showing them because it's all bullshit. You know, it's all the terrible lies that we've been listening to for ages now. I'm kind of fed up. So let's shout who's here before I share some bullshit and play a theme song for what I wanna talk about today. So first up, I wanna call out Martin Haley. We have Ken Claudia in the house, Crystal Sharman, Katina Birdcage, all the usual suspects, and we have Rune Thorsen. Ja. Rune Thorsen. Måske er det Vivis ven, så fra Nordsjælland. Det kunne godt tænkes. Today we're just gonna talk about everything and what's going on in Europe and how we're gonna deal with it. Because something has to be done. Otherwise, you will be forced to take a vaccination at some point. And right now, it's kind of terrible. Welcome, Rune. Så er du fra Silkeborg. Det er super. Så har vi nogen fra Jylland også. So yeah, I want to play a piece of music like I always do. I always play something a little changey at the start just to get all those YouTube sensors going. And today I want to play a little clip about. It's a song about being something else. It's a song about change. It's a song about you want to better yourself, detach yourself of this parasitic, diabolic system that we are living in. And this is just a good song. I listen to this song every time I'm in a bad mood. I take this one up, So I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you all in 4 minutes.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long.
You see, I prayed on things, and then I prayed on them, and I took it to the corner, God paid off then. The destruction wasn't even on my radar then, and my heart was black, it was Darth Vader then. It was drums to the bums, G-packs to the OGs. The money came to me, I sat back with my coldies. Money changed hands and moved on like a cold breeze, and I ain't give a fuck about death or an OD. Mommy always in my ear, saying that I didn't care, but I ain't going back to being broke like this was yesteryear. The plan is to try to be out in less than a year. No drugs, no thugs, no weapons in here. You see, I'm trying to get out, ma, but I feel trapped. What employer gonna hire me when I sell crack? I'm not fully rehabilitated, I fell back, and regret is a motherfucker, run, tell that.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. Tempt us, lead us to the edge, watch the wise turn into fools. The greatest lie ever been told is the one closest to truth. I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. I'm gone.
Yeah, you see, I pray prayed on things, and then I prayed on y'all. My intent was to never get paid off, y'all. When I was young, I saw politicians of all stripes, but all I saw was lies in their eyes, and it's not right. I said when I get older, I'm gonna change shit. Take the welfare system and rearrange shit. Years later, I'm quietly moving up the ladder, trying hard, realizing that it doesn't matter. My wife told me, baby, money doesn't buy elections. Money doesn't buy votes, it just buys attention. I kissed her on her head and told her she was right, but she couldn't understand and see the coldness of the plight. Couldn't understand why it's so cold for me at night, cause political bribery just hold me in a vice. But there's always implicitly some string that's attached by a motherfucker think he got wings on his back. You ain't an angel, pop, you working for the devil. The nightmare of money to lead would be a rebel. I did all of you dirty, so I should've gone to jail. I took your fucking government and put it up for sale. Look, American democracy has been hacked by the corrupt paradigm, that's a supreme fact. And every word that I said in the song, I've been working for the devil too long, and now I'm gone.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. Tempt us, lead us to the edge. Watch the wise turn into fools. The greatest lie ever been told is the one closest to truth. I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. I'm gone.
Yeah, that's it. That was today's number. I love it. And I can see the talk is already going. So we're just going to jump right into it. Yeah, tribe love, all the tribe, the gang is collected again. And yeah, it is bad in Austria, but it's also looking grim other places, what we hear about is Holland and Austria, but actually what isn't being told is about the East European countries, Bulgaria, Latvia, and Lithuania are really hit by this, So, but they don't want you to hear about that, Nah, it's all good, Johnny Cool, and welcome to Cisco, Bossicino, and who else joined while we were playing music? Yeah, I think I got you. But it's all good. I love it. You don't need me to talk. Everybody can have a good conversation. Yeah, and there are protests all over Europe. And we had one in Copenhagen yesterday, I believe. I wasn't there. So I don't know how it went out, but I haven't heard anything. So I guess everybody came home safe and sound. So yeah, hello Ellie B, welcome in the house. Almost missed you, but you made it. so yeah. But as I was saying, if you go to they don't want you to know is that Eastern Europe is hit just as bad as Austria. They have insane rules over there in Lithuania and Bulgaria. I don't know about Hungary, but at least some the countries are hit just as bad as Austria, but you don't hear about it. And I was lucky to be at a tournament last month in Sweden, where I get to talk to all these guys from these countries, and some of them told me that they almost didn't make it to this tournament because they were already closing down. and the 5th of November they were talking about closing down. So they were actually before Europe started to become bad. So so yeah, it's gonna get bad, and it's gonna get to all the other places. We are already hearing about extreme measures being taking place in Germany. They want to lock down as well. I think they want to see how it plays out in Holland and in Belgium first, because there are big demonstrations in Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and I think Brussels has. And yeah, there are demonstrations all over Europe, and it's all bullshit. Okay, let's share the bullshit I collected, just for the sake of it. That's what people want to hear, and I'm gonna comply. So first we have, well, I'm not gonna show it to you. I'm just gonna tell you what I'm reading. Uh, First, you have a lot of numbers. We have 75% fully vaccinated people in Denmark. That's all bullshit. There's no way they're near that numbers. So they're lying about, you know, all the numbers. There are no numbers safe from this pandemic, this deception. And the WHO are saying that they have they have made a model that predicts that 500,000 people will die through this winter in Europe alone. Yeah. So now they can predict casualties as well. Well, maybe because they're counting all the people they're going to shoot this winter. So yeah, and this one is one I do want to share, and I do want to spend some time on. This Tuesday, there's a new story about an 11-year-old kid who died while being tested positive with the coronavirus. Just look at the narrative. It's with corona. It's not of corona. So, and until this point, it didn't really kill the kids. The kids weren't even affected by it. But it's the third death we have within a couple of months between kids, and of course, they all tested positive for COVID-19. So, yeah, the other two kids were between 0 and 9. It doesn't confirm the year of that. And here we can see that 88% of all the dead people in Denmark were over 70 years old. 88%. And 9% was over 50. So that's kind of 97%. So 97% of all the people that allegedly died from COVID-19 were over 50. But all of a sudden, in 2 months, we have 3 deaths of kids, and every time a kid die with COVID, it's blown up all over the media, and they're doing all these commercials and propaganda about the kids now. They want us to vaccinate the kids, and it's horrible. So yeah, I don't know what that's going to lead to, but as you heard me and my kid talking about earlier this week, last week, is that they are setting up buses all over the country and are testing the kids at school once a week, and that we are now down to that only 2 kids in my son's class are not being tested. There are 22 in his class, and 20 of those 22 are being tested every week. That's insane numbers. So we can only see what it's going to go. They are allowed to, when they're allowed to be vaccinated, they're going to vaccinate them right away. So that is just terrible news. And and now we have the Corona Pass app broke down today. That was a big news story. Apparently by 6 hours today, you couldn't use the Corona app, so that basically blinked chaos all over Denmark because you couldn't show it if you had to go in somewhere, and it was just from 10:40 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. It didn't work, and you have to use it to basically everything now. So that was chaos. I kind of have myself a little laugh about that. You know what? That's all for the news today. I don't want to look at this mainstream bullshit no more. So, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about progress. I want to talk about what we can do as a people. I see a lot of Americans today. You will get there, but you won't be hit as the same way as Europe, I think. Because they have to tackle you a little differently. They're gonna attack you on the mental side, not as much on the force side, because they don't like guns. It's that simple. So and it turned ugly just Saturday evening, and all the way all night through until Sunday this morning. We had battles in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and for that I want to drink a little wake beer today, just to sympathize with my brothers in Holland, especially my guy Bonich, who is in Utrecht, and they had a rough time yesterday. It ended with the police shooting at the non-believers. So yeah, let me do that real quick. Pour myself a little beer. I know it's gonna be bad in Belgium too, so I took me a good Belgian beer today. Because, well, I love you, Viners, but it's not all Dutch beer that's very good. Maybe you have to send me something. So you had battles, and you had the police shooting at the crowd. You had 4 people, as I'm informed of, who has gotten hit by shots, and I think 2 of them died. One of them died by being shot in the leg or something, and the other one was shot in the back, and he was 14 or something like that. So a crazy story, and it's terrible. So let's all just drink a little toast, a little wake beer for what happened yesterday. I hope we can do it better than that, in Denmark. In the couple of weeks, we are going to hit the streets in Denmark, starting next week. And I hope we can do it without the violence. So welcome, Queen Bodica Radiant. So let's all say a little prayer for Rotterdam, for what happened, and also say a little prayer for what's going to happen in Brussels. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some nasty thing in Brussels as well, because the Belgian police, I think they're even worse than the Dutch police. So I'm pretty sure it's going to turn ugly there as well. Everybody's talking about Austria, but really Austria is just, it's the playground, for the elite. They love Austria because they are soundly asleep there as well. They can do almost anything they want in Vienna. For those who don't know, if you go back, the Illuminati basically started in Vienna back in the day. So So that has always been their town. So I don't take anything that comes from there very literally. Of course, it's bad. They have a bad lockdown. It's even worse than we have here in Denmark and in Holland and the other places. But I don't think you're going to see the fighting there. That is going to be up here. And they are going to close down Sweden. It's already been announced. They haven't put a date on it yet, but Sweden is going to be closed down as well. And Germany is on the verge as well to be closed down. And of course, Britain will follow. They were a little late to open up, so they still want to have the UK citizens to have a long recess as they can, because they know they're going to be hit hard on the streets in London and in Manchester and places like that. So, and Liverpool, of course. So they're going to drag UK on for as long as they can, but eventually they're going to close them down as well. I see the writing on the wall. My hobby is going to go. So if you're wondering what this is mats. I bought some mats. Here's for $1,000 mats that I can use at home. I can put out. I have 16 square meters that I can play with. So yeah, I've taken my precautions. I know the lockdown is coming real fast and real quick, and I know people who definitely will come and roll with me. So I bought some mats I can put out in my bedroom, and everybody is gonna come join me. So I see that as an opportunity to get them into my studio, right? So maybe we can get a talk or two out of some of the people I do martial arts with. That would be fun, wouldn't it? So yeah, I bought 16 of these mats. Each mat is what do you call it? 3.5 by the time 3.5 feet. So yeah, I'm not quite good with the mat on that one. So last time I was standing still on my training for 6 months. I'm not going to do that this time. And that's what I want to talk about today, really. Let's be ready. We know what's coming. It's not new. We saw it all last year. Maybe it took us by surprise last year, and especially the year before that. But now we know. We've been in this for 4 months now. We know what's going to come. Yeah, we still hope it's not gonna get to that place, but we kind of know it does. So let's be ready. Just do whatever it takes for you to be in control of your life, because that's what they want to push you. They want to push you on your life. They want to take as much life away from you that they can, and they're gonna give it back to you in small bits if you do what they say. So you're gonna get some breadcrumbs. You're gonna get the pokes in their arms. So if you want to keep it like that, prepare yourself. You just have to. You have to look at what you need. If you drink coffee every day, buy a big amount of coffee. It's just a metaphor, but you know what I mean. So yeah. And no, it has never been about health, because why do all the conspiracy theorists look good? And all the ones who want to wear a mask and yell at you are fat as fuck. Oh, I didn't say that. But you know what I mean, All the people who have been doing all they were supposed to their entire life, those are the one who looks like shit. Those are the unhealthy people. It's not me. I'm almost 50. I look great. I've never worn cream. I've never used anything special, and I've never used deodorant or what I'm supposed to do. I've never used Sun Factor in my entire life, stuff like that. And you know what? I'm good. And all the people who have done all those things, those are the one with skin cancer who've been lying in the sun all day because they think they're protected by some imaginary skin that they wipe you know. Yeah. Well, I'm not all 50 yet, you know. I'm turning 47 in a moment, but it's it's what we do, you know. You know, it's common sense. If you just follow the TV, you're gonna be pumped with poison every single fucking day, you know. You have to use your senses to and be smart, you know, and listen to your body. Your body will tell you everything you need to know. It will tell you. It will even tell you what to eat if you just listen. Your body is a temple. There's no doubt about it. And if you just listen to it, you know, I've learned my body. Through all these weight cuts and shit I've been doing, you know, I learned to listen to my body. I know what it does when it needs carbohydrates. I know what it does when it needs proteins. I know what it does when it needs to regenerate. You know, I feel my body, but it's not something you can just do from one day to another. It's a process like everything else over years. You know, so listen to your body. It will tell you everything you need to know, and it will tell you. At least it will tell you a hell of a lot more than the doctor will. So I'm gonna drop that link. If anybody want to join me, you're welcome. You know how we roll here. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. Everything is allowed. If you need to curse, do so. But just be polite to each other, just like you always are. You're beautiful people. And now I'm fucking up because I'm sitting here talking and doing two things at the same time. You know, I'm a man, and apparently we can't multitasking. So jump that link if you have something to say. It doesn't have to be about what's happening in Europe right now. It doesn't have to be about even this scamdemic that we're into. You know, we can talk about everything. Today, I just want to have a good conversation because I was looking at all these mainstream news and they basically made me mad. uh, I need to stop looking at that shit because it puts me in a bad mood every time. So, what else do we need to talk about? Yeah, as I let in with the song, you know, let's detach ourselves for the life we're used to living. It goes all the way and say, stop doing the devil's work, but smaller things can do it. You know, the devil is in the lining, you know, of your life. It's not everything that's the devil's way, but it's it's the small things, you know, that you can implement and you can change, you know. And it's mostly about perception, how you perceive things. Because if you stop doing that, if you stop letting them control your perception, they can't control your emotions. And that's what they're doing on a daily basis. Even though you don't notice it, they are controlling your emotions. I notice it. Even I'm see myself as fairly awake, and I notice them doing it to me on a daily basis. And I have to fight that shit. I have to be focused, and I have to be on point. You know, all the time. I have to be alert at any time. You know, because it's out there. The propaganda is everywhere, even where you don't see it. You know, it gets into your subconscious, and it's gonna creep in at times that you can't control. So yeah, Ken is here, so I'm gonna invite him.
Hey
Welcome.
everybody. Um, I like to comment that Queen Boudica Radiant mentioned because you don't look in your over mid 40s. slightly barely over your mid 40s. And I had commented back to her that it's things that seem almost obvious because I caved into what everybody associates with schooling as indoctrination. But you're right about deodorant, about fluoride in your toothpaste, and blah blah blah, and all these other skin products, whatever.
Poison everywhere.
Exactly, chemicals and poisoning, and that it's that almost sheeple before we knew about sheeple, where well everybody does it, and it's how you take care of yourself when it's just part of a process. And I think that your combination of your health regimen, not using those chemicals, getting out in nature, and your outlook on life are part of what contribute to how your appearance and the key at the heart of it of what you said of listening to your body. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've done that since I was little. My mother used to put sunscreen on me when I was a kid. But when I was like 10 or 12, something like that, I was old enough to say no, and I haven't worn it since. So and it's everything you need to be aware of. Even the things that you don't think is an issue. Shampoo.
Right.
Many people use shampoo every day. That is a bad choice. You use shampoo once or twice a week, but the rest of the week just wash your hair in clean water, in warm water, you know because it is bad. And instead of you using the douche, the what do you call it, the shower gel, use soap. Soap is not bad for you, but they put all kinds of shit in that shower gel. Just imagine, just look behind a bottle with shower gel. On a piece of soap, it says soap and aromas. you know. But if turn around this shower gel bottle, it has a list like this with all kinds of shit in it.
Right.
You know.
There's a soap company. I believe they're literally. I'm not compensated by these guys or anything, but they had really, really humorous, really good adverts for their products called Dr. Squatch, where they were saying regular soaps and products are literally labeled as detergents because of all the other chemicals inside them. So they're promoting them as being the only things in our products are healthy, are safe, and are biodegradable, blah, 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 and things that are actually genuinely good for your skin. But on top of that, they have like certain authentic pine scents and stuff that are really, really good. And then shortly after that company came out with that, there was a, not knockoff, but another company that goes, hey, we make the same stuff they do, and we're not going to charge you the a manufacturer sales price they're going to give you because of all their marketing, and it's going to be the exact same ingredients that are natural and healthy and good for you and all that. I also want to follow up. I forget if it was both Martin Haley and Ellie that we're talking about, as well as you, of if you have any basic training. A comment, I believe it was Martin Haley, that made me want to remember to just start redoing my punch and kick drills from my Shaolin training. And I couldn't let my friend Brian drink alone.
You're a good man.
Sludge. And
normally I don't drink Sunday, but today's different.
I want to clarify, and I feel I don't want to make it sound like I'm defensive, guys. My main use for this is not only so that tribe life, we're all in this together, but that I'm mostly only a social drinker, but I'm making a stand in another sense that as long as the First Amendment is dead, I think I'll drink a little. That I love that. That's basically going to become my tagline, because. And that it's not that I'm going to give up wine once that's over, but I appreciate the humor in my ability to say that, because just as much as, and I don't want to make this about news like you said, but America benefited yesterday from, not yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago, on the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. The wrong people, especially the media, want to play it as division and everything else. They clearly didn't know the facts of the case. And one person, I forget if it was Fox News, called it as it was. It was a blatant attempt to disarm America. And so us
Sure.
being able to maintain the Second Amendment right is gives me hope that at some point we'll get the First Amendment right, back as well.
Because you know what is going to happen. You know, they only need to take one. You know, that's all they need. It doesn't matter which one. You know, if they get to take one, down the line they're going to get them all. You know that. You know, once you start
That's
giving
always been
away
the
those
goal.
rights, you know, yeah,
Right.
it's gone.
I specifically want to call out that sellout and that jerk Jimmy Kimmel. I'm sorry I even have to bother saying his name, but I remember years and years ago when the Las Vegas shooting came out, him appearing in front of his crowd with crocodile tears going, I'm just worried for when the next one will happen. And guess what? There hasn't been another shooting in Las Vegas. And when they reviewed the tapes, whether it's Sandy Hook or whatever else, they saw a lot of sketchy stuff, and it never happened again. So all of this is an effort by agenda, by design, to disarm the American public so that we'll be rolled over easier.
And I have to say to Queen Radiant, that comment probably make you my best friend right now. Because I feel like 55, you know. So
there's a song I know a fair number of people do not like country music, but there's a song by Toby.
I like it.
There's some by Toby Keith from a bunch of years back that goes, "I ain't as good as I once was."
They have amazing lyrics in country and western, you know.
I forget what one of the many music shows, American Idol or whatever, but the one thing that the country performer who was the representative on the judges panel said was, country music tells a story, and that's where the hook is. And they also provide a fair amount. Algo is finally in that. We got
Mike in the house.
Cheers, Algo. Cheers, Mike.
Welcome. We're drinking today for our Dutch friends who had a scrowny with the police yesterday, and I don't know if you heard, but a couple of people got killed by gunshots of the police. So, yeah.
I will push my luck, and I will impose a little on you, Brian. That I'm going to make a transition since, and that song of yours, it got me a little emotional. The 4-minute song that you played earlier, because, and Mike has called me on it. We are all our own worst critics. And I've been a little hard on myself, like certain things you pointed out, or Mike, or all the things that were going on in the world, where it's like, why didn't I see it sooner? Why or why do I feel that I can't make a certain stand in a certain degree? But in terms of being where Mike is taking that burden off of me of being hard on myself, is that, well, you're making a stand now, and you're making choices, and you can't unsee what you've seen now.
No.
And to relate it back to that awesome music, or just music in general, I don't know how much of this is a combination of predictive programming, and for whichever people in chat remember, or if you, I don't know, not too many people like musicals. I myself didn't grow up liking musicals, but then there were a couple of ones with really awesome songs. I get you, but there's a song that resonates right now with me holding this right now from Les Miserables. Drink with me 2 days gone by. It's about the French Revolution, with people reminiscing about comrades in arms that they've lost. And we all know that we don't know how many of us will be left standing at the end of this, but we know we're going to win.
Yeah, we usually do, I think. So yeah, if they have won earlier, you know, we wouldn't be in this mess now. The world would be a different place. So I guess we're going to win.
What I'm grateful for is the way certain things are panning out. It isn't really a toss-up, but I agree with you and certain other people who are saying certain people are waking up, and it's nice. But I reached a point a couple months back where I was done in terms of certain other people where I know I'm not going to reach them, and it's not even worth trying.
No. That's what I also said, you know. Don't use time on those you know you can't wake up, you know. Use your energy on those you think there's a chance with, And that's the point. If you just keep going around try and wake everybody up, you're gonna be just like a broken record, yada 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 yada. you know you lose your passion and your energy when the more you
You're wasting your
repeat this
resources and your energy.
message, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so keep it. If you give him some leading questions, on some subjects. It can be politics, whatever, and if you can see they're sound asleep, if they love their politics, don't even go there. You
Right.
just, if they are still choosing between left and right, don't hit them with something bigger, because
Right.
they
Yeah.
will fold
Something like
right
that.
away. So that's what it's about. Keep your energy for those who say, "Yeah, I don't know about those politicians." Oh, yeah, okay, man. Now I can take it a step further. So yeah,
Yeah, and I'm concerned about some of my friends that are like, "Oh, keep posting X, Y, or Z on platforms like fail. I call it Failbook on Facebook. It's like it's their platform and it's controlled by them. And what was it, 18 months ago when I would post something and it would say, "This is going to be fact checked or has been fact checked," and I'm like, I'm done. Then there's no point. And where the seed of me saying since the First Amendment's still dead started, because clearly there is no freedom of speech.
yeah, and time is an issue. The longer you're not going to wake anybody up by bumping into them on the bus stop at the bus stop. It takes time because you need information from a trustworthy source. It could be family, it could be friends, that you see every day or see every other day or something like that. There you have a chance. Like I basically kick my working buddy in the ass. Because he's a very good guy and he's very intelligent. And but when I met him, he was wearing a mask. And instead of just coming out and say, "Hey, why are you wearing that, man? That's stupid. Hey, it doesn't work. Haven't you seen the numbers? Don't you know who Carrie Mullis is? Oh my God, it's all a hoax."
Mm-hmm.
I would have lost that guy right away.
Right. Right.
Instead, I just I didn't say anything the first 2 weeks, but every day we are going to the stores in our lunch breaks and stuff like that. We go buy food, but I'm not wearing my muscle, and he's putting on his pretty muscle, and I could feel he was like walking behind me. He was like taking a step back when we were in the store, because it felt weird whether he was embarrassed for my behalf or he was embarrassed for his own behalf. I don't know, but basically when the couple of weeks gone by and I start opening up, we're starting talking about the mask, and I say it's stupid and you don't have to do it, and now he has seen that I don't do it, so now it's not just talk, you know
Right. And
and yeah, and he
there,
connects with that. He see me hold my head up high. He sees me. He sees me commenting when people are saying something. And and that works a lot better than words. It works a lot better than screaming in their face. Get it by now? Are you stupid or what?
right, right, because that comes from a place of confrontational, and
Yeah.
in that moment they have to make a decision. Do I agree with this guy or not? When you use a soft, lack of a better context, a soft approach, and be like, well, okay, you see the way Brian's carrying himself.
Mm.
You see that he doesn't. I forget if it's the current thing on Instagram, Dillygaff. Do I look like I give a fuck?
Yeah.
But where your demeanor, and that's something I'll follow up again between Ellie, Queen Boudica and Martin Haley, of what martial arts can give you, any degree of self-defense training. You stand taller, you square your shoulders, regardless of me being 5'3", most people don't mess with me just because of the way I walk. You have a confidence in you that silently transmits, you could probably take me, but it's not going to be easy. So you don't want to push your luck with that. Kind
It's a
of.
balance. It's a balance because you don't want to get too cocky either, because that can backfire as well.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I have to check your
It's
ego at the other end.
of course it's a confidence, not a swagger.
Yeah,
But your case being that he knows you, and that because you didn't make it a confrontation,
yeah,
he's slowly perceiving from you that, and I forget which thing I saw where um, someone was walking through a restaurant, and you see how everybody's all on top of each other. So 6 feet is out the window, and it's just, if you take, this has been our frustration with everybody else from day one in terms of the basis of it doesn't make sense. But we, as you said, I don't want to belabor the point on that, because you're right, and why I kind of stopped looking at news stories, because if it wasn't retread, it was all just how this relates to it, or as we've been pointing out, now they're saying people can get health issues from climate. Are you kidding me? It's, and then that story kind of came and went, and it's like a bad video game or James Bond movie where they're like, let's test how this plays with the public, see if it gains any traction, and it's just, and then I think Ellie texted me about a terrorist attack in England a couple days back, and it's like, okay, so, and then this was the meme that started months and months ago, probably over 16 months ago, with murder hornets. It's like, okay, the Kofifi isn't working. Send out some other fear mongering thing to make people afraid, and it's just crazy.
yeah. It is crazy, and I think it's gonna get worse. We are only seeing the start of a very, as I've been saying for a long time. I said last year we were looking at the back of a horror book, and I think what we've been experiencing for the last 3 months, has been the, what do you call it, the prologue of that book, and I think this winter is gonna be chapter one of that book. And I just hope it's a pretty short book, to be honest.
There are people, I think, within their own ranks. A guy who has been chiming in chats, whether it's Rachel Reinstra's, I think he's also been on Mike Algo's streams, called Blue Rage, had corroborated what I've seen about people finding things about smallpox here and there, and it's like, okay, so now you're gonna do something with an actual disease, because you've never isolated Kofifi, so now you need something to actually affect people, and your depopulation agenda hasn't gotten you the numbers that you want, so you're gonna amp up with that or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
But it still seems like they're right on plan.
Yes, like I as much as I'm frustrated with it, I remember when I first heard about this, I forget if it was 2019, 2018, about 2030, I felt like, well, that's a ways off. Now that we're already on the doorstep of 2022, 2030, they could be on schedule, if not ramped up enough that they're even ahead of schedule. So who knows?
Yeah.
And as much success as we've been having with the protests, they might have ramped it up more, because certain whispers here and there have been saying, "Oh, the bad guys are panicking." Yeah, I don't know. I wish they were, and I hope they are.
Yeah, but I think we just need to pull our energy from that system. Totally. And that goes for the fighting as well. I understand the frustration that's going on in the street. I do. I feel like fighting sometimes myself, but I think we need to pull our energy totally, the negative vibes and the positive vibes. Pull everything and just and use that on the people around us. I think that is the answer to everything. Don't, because even when you go out there on the street and protest and feel like you're doing something good, you have a good time, but you're also implementing the problem at the same time, and that's a fine balance. So
It's polarizing. It's emphasizing the opposition. It's reinforcing the division. And last night, a mutual friend of Mike and mine, Rachel Reenstra, had a live where she was just talking about unconditional love and just putting acceptance out there, and what I've put in the context of integration. So you have this duality, you have the division that the powers that be want, and if you can integrate them, what I've said to people that have asked me, Ken, why are you still going to nursing school? Why did you take the double jab? I want to be a bridge, or be on a bridge between those two. If the powers that be want to propose a 2-tier system, if there isn't one, then maybe part of my mission or goal is to build that bridge. I'm willing to reach across that divide, and that it's almost like you were reading my mind. That to focus on reinforcing or emphasizing the division, that's not going to get us anywhere. If anything, that's playing into their hands.
no,
And I'm
but
so
it's all about you, Ken. You need to make up with yourself whether you're good about being the bridge. Is that what you want? Because that's what it's all about. It's about keeping the life that you want. You know, if you really want to be on the other side of the bridge, don't be the bridge, because the bridge will not. It's not your life. It's just something you feel like you have to be now to help people get across. You know, but if you lose yourself in the process, it's, well, that's even
I
worse.
appreciate that. That's a great insight, Brian. It helps gives me building blocks towards what I thought of. I never thought that I'd learn certain perspectives from, of all things, Instagram, but people are borrowing phrases from motivational speakers like start, then study. Like don't tell yourself, well, I can't start that because I don't know enough, and because certain things in life you'll never know enough, and then you'll never start. Like,
Exactly.
go ahead and start the project and then learn as you go,
That
as
is true.
opposed to feeling like, well, then I need this, then I need that, then I can't, and then before you know it, a year's gone by and you haven't even started. My point being that I don't know whether creator or whoever put it into my head to say be a bridge, and I still don't even know how I'm going to accomplish that. But that instantaneously in my head, I know, as brainwashed and buying the narrative as some people are, my second family is the people that I worked with in the hospital, and I'm not going to give up on them. By the same token, the hashtag we've been touting of tribe life and tribe love, you guys have come to mean more to me than I knew I could have a connection with people in general. I don't know if society does it intentionally, but or part of a, not even macho, but a guy's perspective is I need to do this on my own. I need to be self-sufficient. I need to be able to prove myself, blah, blah, blah. But we also need the community. And I've said this on repeated streams of Mike's. Everybody in chat, for what little or as much as you've known me, I have benefited from having you guys as an outlet, some place that I can vent my emotions, someone that you guys get the most stripped down, honest version of me, because I don't have to hide by anything. I don't have behind anything. I don't have to pretend to be anything, and I can speak my mind freely with all of you guys.
That's
God
the
bless you,
point.
Mad Pyman.
Yeah.
And it's I've never had, when you're dealing with family, you know that from emotional baggage or your past history with family. Well, I got to deal with my sister like this. I have to deal with my older brother like this. Don't have to worry about any of that. Not that there aren't repercussions or that you guys don't have a counter perspective.
No,
But we're
but that's the good part. That's the good part, because you know that you're gonna give an honest opinion when you talk to me. And if I feel like saying something, I'm gonna say it. But I always mean well, because and that's the group we have. I also do it with Mike. We are all different, Just imagine, what I see here. I see, welcome, Matt Pyman. We have from Australia, we have US, we have Britain, we have people from all over the world, and yet we're sitting here and having the same emotions and the same thoughts, and so it's not about your upbringing. That is the
Or
narrative.
geographic location.
Let's get back to Ken, who Ken is. We were talking a little about that before. It's about finding out who you are and where you want to be in life. Because I found my place. A place I didn't thought I wanted to be. I've always been in the background. I always been a laid back guy, or a stupid guy. I've been that guy too, you know. But since all this started, I found myself, and I found out who I was and where I wanted to be, and where I chose to be is in the front line. Because and I'm not there because I want to help people. I'm there because that's what suits me. That's is where I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable in the front line. I don't feel comfortable sitting at the couch and let things go by, and I don't feel comfortable in extremist behavior. But I want to be in the front line. I want to be that guy who holds the threads. Between what
Holding
do we
things
call
together by a thread.
them? I don't want to call them human and sheeps, but but you know what I
Oh,
mean.
exactly. Absolutely.
I've chosen to be that guy. I want to be there. And if you want to be the bridge we were talking about before, oh my God, go ahead and do it. I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing. But you have to be sure that that's you. That's where you want to be in life. Otherwise, it will chew you up from the inside. That's what I want to say.
No, that's awesome, Brian, and this is the unexpected benefit. And I come back here for the energy and for the support that I get from everybody in chat, as well as you,
Mm.
whoever's hosting, whether it's Mike or God bless Patrick Roberts, I believe, is having another live later tonight. I don't know if I'm going to attend that one, but um, and I'm grateful that my heart or my feeling felt I needed to say that bridge, and then just on the synchronicity or the happenstance that I mentioned that word, and you chime in with your perspective that has completely given me a different outlook on that. Okay, you can say you want to do that, but I mean, this sounds like between a job interview or how I'm planning my path, and you're just saying, okay, those are bold words, and they look nice on paper and they sound pretty, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
And I'm too much of an open book right now, or becoming too much of an open book in
Wow.
probably, as Mike has identified, one of the safest places that I could ever be, where I can challenge myself to say, as you reminded me, you found out who you are.
Yeah.
My frustration is that I have so much of what I either jokingly said in an email or in text to Algo was, I have old programming that we were all brought up with, and I have outdated crudware, so outdated software running it. That now that I've challenged the system in a certain way, what is it that I hold to be true? And you said it so poignantly, and that I need to actually address that issue of who is Ken and what does he really want?
Mm.
Because I get you start on a path and then you don't you're so busy trying to stay on that path that you don't take time to sit back and think and reassess and say, okay, yeah, but what does that really mean? Or why does that have meaning for you?
Yeah, well, there's a flip side to that. When you're saying that you are becoming too much of an open book, there's I'm, and you also feel that it's good to come here and get some perspective. That's contradictory. Because if I didn't get to read Ken as an open book, I wouldn't be able to give that insight. So
Okay,
you see
I
it
agree. I
work
agree.
both
Right.
ways. You know. So if you are not coming here and giving that side of you, I would never impose my opinions on you. You know, it's because I feel I know you,
Yes,
and I can do this. You know, so it's a two-edged sword. You know.
absolutely. But that's where I rely on people like Mike, Leb, yourself, and anyone else, Queen Boudica Raiden, and anyone else who feels uh, moved to chime in, because that's how I learn. If I'm rethinking to myself of what is Ken, I'm in my own echo chamber. The fact that I can reliably feel comfortable reliably discussing this with all of you and getting constructive criticism, uh, not even necessarily constructive, but just your perspectives, and that you can take it or leave it. It's fine. It's more that that is a perspective that I don't have, just because it's just rattling around between my ears, and it's only reinforcing what I already know of myself. So for
Yeah.
that, those insights alone, I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to have these conversations with people around us because they never understand the place we're in. You know, they never will experience that kind of loneliness it brings when you're living outside that bubble that everybody else lives in. You know, so once you have taken a step out of that bubble, you know, you're no longer opening yourself to these people who don't understand you. You know, but then once in a while, you meet another guy who walks out of that bubble, you know, and you can have this conversation, and you can get his perspective of things you have thought of for a long time, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
that's the thing that I have to praise everyone in chat, as well as you, Brian, is something that in going it alone, or when, like you said, how you took the soft approach and really got to know your coworker before you approached
mm,
him on that particular topic, is that you don't. I benefit from almost a year of knowing certain people, a year, maybe a little longer, of knowing certain people in chat,
yeah,
where I feel comfortable and where
it's
I
not about
feel I
time;
can.
it's about trust. Trust is
That
a
was about you reading my mind. The next word that was
yeah,
going to come out of my mouth was trust. In that you develop a trust, and you get a gauge.
mm,
I have yet to meet Queen Boudica Radiant or Leb in person, but from the contributions they've made in chat, I have a feeling of what they're like as a person. But that, again, what I call a vibrational frequency of what's brought people to your chat or brought people to Mike's chat. You aren't here by mistake, and that level of of a person that you are, I already have an established comfort level. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought these
no,
issues up. And I do, on that note, unfortunately, I do have to bow out due to another
it's good.
commitment. But
It's good.
it was so great to see everybody. Again, I can't measure what it means to me, guys, to be able to connect with you all on a basis like this, in a manner like this. It's like you guys are the neighborhood, and close friends that I never knew that I needed. So immeasurable thank yous to everybody.
That's awesome, Ken, and we will always be here. Do you know why you can trust these people? By the way,
Other than what I said, no. Go
just
ahead.
use your common sense. Why can you trust all these people in the chat? And I will give you my answer, but I'll let you poke at it first.
Um, Other than what I came up with before, it's just that because I've seen them on a, for lack of a better phrase, proven track record of their comments in chat, and what I've determined from
Mm.
how they conduct themselves. Pretty
I'll
much.
give you something even more logical. Look what we're doing. Look the conversation we have. These people are here every fucking week. And that's why you can trust them. Because if they were not here to listen to our bullshit, you know, if they think we were stupid or anything like that, they would be gone a long time
That's true.
ago.
That's true.
But they
That's
are
true.
here every fucking week. And that's why you can trust them.
I appreciate that, Brian. On that note, I'm gonna sign off, guys. But it means the world to me, guys. I mean, you literally are a snapshot of the world that I would not trade anything for. So stay strong, keep being who you are, and I look forward to seeing you guys, whether it's on Brian's or Mike's, maybe even Patrick's later tonight. So take care, guys.
Yeah. Bye bye,
Thanks so
Ken.
much, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, and always. See, that's what we're here for. Good conversation. I love it. I'm gonna just finish this beer. That was Ken Claudio. He's always here, and that's why I trust him. So, and that's why I trust that I can give my input when we are talking, because what we're talking about is delicate. You know, everything we're talking about here that becomes emotional is delicate. We wouldn't be able to have these conversations with the people around us. I can't. I don't have people I can talk through about what this means and how it hurts us, because everybody's just sitting there waiting for it to go over, and they're just looking at me saying, "Why aren't you doing it? What's the big deal? What's up with you being stubborn?" So yeah. If not here, we don't have it. I don't. You may be lucky to have people around you. You can have. And now my internet is bugging out. Am I still here? Oh my god! What the fuck is going on? Oh, I think I'm back. That was a weird jump. Now I'm not allowed to speak anymore. So so yeah. That is a hurdle we all need to get over. This barrier, these fists that we put up for our surroundings. And don't think you don't do it. Everybody does it. Everybody puts their fist up once in a while, every day. Actually, you are up here, and feel like you have to protect yourself and your views and all that. But if you can just detach yourself from that feeling and just let people be people, let the nonsense be nonsense, and let the conversations be conversations. Learn to define which situation you're in, and which people you're talking to, which forum you're in. It's all about adapting, and it's hard when you have lived your life. When we are 40, 50, 60 years old, it can be hard, to change your ways, but it is still possible. You can do it. I've done it. I've changed tremendously over the last 2 years. Yeah, not all of you knew me from back then, but just a year ago, I was a total different person, And the year before that, oh my God, I was a wreck, So, yeah, and the year before that, I was an asshole, and that is also a thing it does. It betters you. It betters you to learn what you really want in life. Don't don't settle for the person you are, or the person that everybody perceive you to be, everybody wants you to be. Start looking, what do I want, what do I need, what can't I live without, and implement that in your life on a daily basis, and it will make you feel very, very good, because even though we are all good Samaritans here, we all want to help our fellow human being, but you can't do that unless you are on good terms with yourself, unless you had a deep and hard look inside, and corrected yourself, because then you will hide. I did that for a long time when I started hitting the streets. When I started talking to Mike, I was hiding. I was hiding my own self in the idiocracy of other people, you know, and that's not the right way to go, you know. So, but yeah, Matt Pyman, I am what I am, and I have chosen to be a rebel, and that's the path I'm gonna continue because I feel comfortable in being a rebel, and that's what it's all about. Do whatever you feel comfortable at, you know. Because if you're getting emotional, aggravated, or stressed out, you're not helping anybody, and you're not feeling good. So just find out who you are and what you want and where you want to be. And if that means you have to take a slap now and then to be the guy you are, so be it. You know, you know. I have to listen to people say I'm an idiot sometimes, and you know what? They truly feel I'm an idiot, and that's okay. You know, but that's still who I want to be, and I don't care how many people think I'm an idiot. I still want to be that guy, and it doesn't matter because I actually know people, you know, that connects with me who don't think I'm an idiot. So who gives a shit, right? Yeah, I'm gonna drop that link again if anybody wants to join. Because today I'm feeling good and I'm drinking beer, so I don't care. I can go another hour or something like that. Exactly, Mike. Exactly what is it? That was the perfect word. Self-image. Perfect word. You have to look at yourself, you know. And the only way to do that is to check yourself. Oh, I want to play something. I'll probably get a strike for it, and that's what we're here for. So I want to play something before I forget, and I remember it because you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I saw an interview today with with a famous rapper in the U.S. when he's only 24 years of age, I think. It's from '93, and okay, we're gonna wait with that because I actually just have somebody pop in. So yeah, that's my Australian guy, my mate from Australia. Welcome,
Hey,
Matt.
how are you, Brian? Good to see you, mate.
How are you?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, good, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Algo just said I should drop in. I think I wanted to. I've got things to do, but I'll give you a rundown of what happened at the
Do
rally.
so.
Yeah, it was the biggest rally that's ever happened in Australian history. We I'll just tell you. I'll give you a rundown of what I witnessed. So we arrived at the in the city, got off the train at the main train station. It's called Flinders Street train station, and we walked up to where the rally was, where they started. You know, we were hoping to get there before the march actually started. They were marching from Parliament House straight down the street in front of it, and to the they ended up at the Treasury Gardens.
So we are interested. How many were you?
Well, I'll just tell you what happened.
Okay, okay. We're gonna get to
I'll give you a description of my experience to the best of my
All right.
abilities. Yep. So we, as we were getting closer, we noticed that there was people already marching. So the march had already started, and I think it was like 12:15, and the march was supposed to start at 12. So we missed 15 minutes. We probably didn't even miss 15 minutes because it didn't actually start, I think, until about 10 past or 12:15. So it probably only just started when we arrived, and we were walking straight at the protest. The protest was coming along, and we were walking straight at the protest on a 90-degree angle down a side street, and we could see them going past. Right, so we thought, oh, okay. It was me and my mate and his girlfriend. We went in together, and as we saw that, and we walked around the corner, and we thought we'll just stop and see how long it takes for everyone to walk past.
That's all you do.
Wait. So we thought we'd see how long it would take, to try and gauge how many people there were compared to the one we were at last week. Anyway, we stood there, and a couple of other people we knew, we saw a lot the Saturday before. We ran into them the second time, a huge crowd, and 2 weeks in a row we connected again, which was just like amazing. That's just like a blessing. You know what I mean? Like God put us together again.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're standing there, and the march went past us. It took 1 hour for the whole march to pass us. An hour of people walking past, constantly just filling the street. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And from that, from just that observation, we knew we had at least double at that time from the week before. And the week before, it was 138,000.
Yeah.
So we knew we were up around the 250, 300.
So about a 250,000. Yeah, that's great,
Yeah.
man.
But the official figure ended up being 450,000.
That's insane. That's good.
Every week it's getting bigger and bigger, and next week's going to be 1 million.
So what are they doing? What are the cops doing?
Oh, they're just standing around. They were doing traffic control, blocking the streets to allow the march to proceed. But where we ended up at these gardens, there was just hundreds of them, and they're just all standing around. They're like demon possessed robots. They're soulless. You can't talk to them. They've got no emotion. They're just like, they think they're doing a great job, but there was no violence because we outnumbered them, so they couldn't hurt anybody. But they were, they facilitated it, and there was a few niceties going on. Apparently, they were handing out bottles of water to people. So
I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah. So
in Denmark, we are working on 5,000 people. We were trying to gather up 5,000 people. So we feel like pretty mesmerized when you're talking about 250,000 people. I want to be there. I want to be right there, smack in the middle with my T-shirt on. Being a part of that would be amazing. So when you are there, how does it feel? How many of those people are truly awake?
Oh, well, there's quite a lot.
There's quite a lot.
It was amazing. Everybody you talked to knew everything that was going on. A lot of them knew about the dark stuff, the satanic ritual abuse and child everything, everything evil. Because once they went after the children, I think it woke a lot of people up, and they started looking into what was really going on.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing here as well.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much. Yeah, you'd be struggling to find people who didn't know the majority of what's going on. Especially the bioweapon agenda.
Yeah, and how many are you in Victoria or Melbourne?
Population's like 6.8 million for the whole state.
6.8 million. And how many people are there? How much is the percentage of vaccination? They say
they tell us it's at 93% or something.
93%.
90,
now you have a quarter of a million people on the streets out of 7 million people, something like that. Let's say it like that. Yep. that's you know.
But there were jab people there. A lot of them,
So there were
they just
Jap
don't.
people there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
jab people there. Everybody's there because they're sick of the restrictions and they want to get their lives back. They've just had enough. They've lost their jobs. They're losing their family members. People are dying in hospitals. You know,
yeah,
the children are under attack. We're
yeah,
losing, and we've got a bill going through. They're trying to push through our parliament in Victoria at the moment, which will give the Premier unlimited power. There's the ability to jail people for 2 years, but they could make it indefinite detention, just for not complying, just for having a different opinion.
but have anybody is gone to court for that? Do they have the laws to implement that? Because
No,
one
that's
thing
what they're
is
trying to
to
push.
threaten the people, one thing is to hand out fines, but when you start putting people to jail, there have to be a court system in play, and can they really do that?
They're trying to pass it through the court, through the parliament. But there's a lot of pushback, and it's not working the way they wanted it to. And I think it's waking more people up. So it's
Yeah,
exponential. The awakening is unstoppable now, because the people they know what's going on, and they know that their families are under attack, their children are under attack, and they're looking into it and they're finding the truth, and they know, and they people who knew nothing like 6 months ago
yeah.
were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I've met people here as well who were totally asleep 6 months ago, so stopped, who have taken two jabs and everything,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they say, "Hey, wait a minute, you know, wait
Yeah.
a minute. I've been doing all you've been asking me to do for almost 2 years now, and
Mm.
I still can't do what I want to do without getting more, you know."
Mm.
Wow, when is enough is enough? That's the question people start asking themselves. So
Mm. The people who said enough's enough, mate.
yeah,
Yeah, they have.
but I'm so happy to hear it because I know that shit would spread like rings in water. It was if you can have it there, it will spread all over Australia, and when it's big enough that they can't hide it in media no more, it will spread around the world as well. So keep on doing
The
what you're
waves,
doing, man. It's great.
yeah, the waves building, mate. The waves just, the waves building. It's growing. It's getting bigger by the day, and it's gonna turn into a tsunami, mate. It's
It's a
unstoppable.
good
It'll be a
feeling. Yeah, we
tsunami
did.
of freedom for the world, mate. This shit's gonna
Well, it's a
end.
fire, it's a fire. You have to nourish that shit. Just for a second, you're not watching. It's gonna go out. So you just have to keep on going every week and try to get that number.
Mm.
To try to push forward. Because I
Yeah.
saw it in Denmark. We had last year, just like a year ago, we had a big movement where we were growing in numbers every day. We were demonstrating for 13 days in a row, and every day we just grew in numbers. And when the numbers were too great, they had to discard the laws they were trying to do. But the problem is when they said, "Okay, we can't do that," they threw out the law, and everybody went home. And nobody woke up. They just got what they came for, and it just went away. So be careful. You just keep pushing that fire all the time.
Yeah,
And
well, we've had some good things happen just recently. A couple of days ago, the Prime Minister came out in support of ending all the mandates,
yeah,
and there's a we know he's not on our side, but we don't care. We want it over. We want everything to stop. It's going to stop, right? And there's a minor party in the federal parliament that's put a petition up to put a bill through parliament that will end all of the mandates. And she's had meetings with the Prime Minister, and that's why he's speaking about it now. And people have been signing this petition, and as of 2 days ago, they had 180,000 signatures. The petition ends today, and the bill's going to be put to the Parliament today with all the signatures of the petition for this bill. And she's actually said that her party won't support any legislation that the government tries to pass until the mandates are finished. And so it's happening. You know what I mean? And the world's going to follow. The world's going to follow, mate, because we're going to set the example here.
Yeah, and because you can, you still have guns in Australia, don't you?
No, not really. No,
Not really.
not really.
Don't you still have all the, what do you call them? I don't want to be prejudiced, but the bush guys with guns.
Farmers. Yeah, farmers and
Yeah.
sporting shooters. Yeah, people who shoot for sport and people that are farmers. They're the only ones that are allowed to have guns. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, it's the same as here, I guess,
Yeah.
because we're allowed to have hunting guns as well, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good to hear. I'm very positive. You know what? This sends me a good vibe because next time you go there, bring me some footage. I want to see that. Because it makes me feel good. That's the only reason. I love to watch shit like that. So give me some footage. Just give me 2 minutes with your phone or something like that when you have the time.
I don't have a phone that's any good, mate. I don't have a smartphone, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well,
you know what?
Yeah, there's footage.
You know what? Let me know next time you're there. I'll call you and just let me hear it.
I'm actually like people. Everybody's heard about what's happening in Austria. All right, the government's trying to force, not even mandate, just forcefully jab everybody.
Yeah.
Well, they had a little bit of a protest yesterday. I think there was like 1 million people, and in Austria.
Oh, really? I didn't think there were that many.
Yeah, it was huge. Probably at least as big as what we had, and everybody in Austria, they're armed. They've got access to better firearms than Americans do. They're allowed to have 50 caliber machine guns, mate. For personal protection.
But have you seen the Austrian army? That's kind of pretty big too.
Yeah, so, but everybody's got guns. Everybody's armed in Austria.
Yeah, but everybody is, a big portion of the grown males are enlisted in the Austrian army. It's just like the Swiss army. If you know the Swiss army, when you reach a certain age, you have to be a part of the army, and they're doing the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Service. Yeah. So yeah.
But the people stood up, mate. They stood up. They're saying no, we're not taking it because it's apparently by the official statistics, it's 35% of the population that have said no. They're not taking it. But you can count it. You can guarantee to be more than that. It's probably like 50% that have said no.
It is because we wouldn't have this fight if they were winning. We only have this fight because they're losing.
Yeah.
They're losing ground. And that's why we're having a fight. If they were like 80-90%, like they say, the fight would be over.
Yeah, I'd assume when you see these big marches, there will be a large percentage of people there that have complied, but they're not going to do it anymore. They've had enough. They've said enough. Enough's enough.
Yeah. I've seen some startling things in Denmark as well. You have a lot of people in Denmark who are ready to fight, but they are only ready to fight in the weekend, and that's the big problem. Everybody.
That's the same here. Pretty much the same here too.
Yeah. Okay, and that's my issue. I love people getting out there. I love people taking a stand, but you have to do it all the way. You can't go and think you are freedom fighters Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and the rest of the week you're complying with the rules. That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, we've had people occupying the steps of Parliament in the city every day. But
Yeah,
the crowds vary. They usually get bigger at night. They're getting like 1,000 people, 2,000 people at night, just in front of the
yeah,
Parliament every night, every day, and a few hundred during the day, every day. But
yeah.
just the presence, man. Just the presence daily. Putting the pressure on them. Yeah, you need to do it. Someone needs to. Yeah,
So are they feeling it?
more
Yeah,
people,
you
everyone.
you
But there's a lot
you
of people.
told them.
The problem is a lot of these people are still working too. So not everybody's at home like me. You know.
Yeah, but are they feeling the pressure? Yeah, I heard you talking about your ministers coming out and trying to pull back some of those restrictions. So is that because they're feeling the pressure, or is it just part of the narrative?
No, that was actually the prime minister. That's the head
All right.
honcho of the country,
Yeah.
supposedly. Yeah, yeah. So things are going to change. It's happening. It's happening now. We should definitely know something. Even not today, by tomorrow, we'll know something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway,
No, Mark.
no matter what happens, if we can delay what they're trying to push through the bill that they're trying to pass, even if we can delay it until the 15th of December, it's all off because you can't extend state of emergency powers anymore. It's come to an end. That's why he's trying to get this bill through the Parliament. The Premier, Daniel Andrews.
Be careful they don't do what they did in Denmark. Last year we did exactly what you're doing. We were out there every day and we grew in numbers and we got thrown down a law. But while we were doing that, they were implementing other laws that we weren't seeing. They were actually doing things behind the curtain, rushing laws through Parliament while we were looking at what the left hand was doing. They put
Yeah.
this up, where I'm not gonna say, but
I hear
you
you.
understand what I'm saying.
I
Be
hear
careful that
you.
they're not trying to fuck you
Yeah, I hear you.
that way.
Mm. Oh yeah, there's always something going on. Yeah, there's always something going on behind the scenes. But
Exactly.
the Parliament's being watched. The Parliament's being watched daily, man. There's people watching it every day, so they're under scrutiny hardcore now. So they're not going to be not going to be sneaking any legislation through that people don't know about. It's not going to be happening.
No,
So that's good.
it sounds good.
But our Parliament dissolves on the 1st of December, I think, for the Christmas holiday.
So when are your election? Do you have election in your country really soon?
The state election
Yeah.
isn't until the 26th of November next year. Currently, that's the date that it's set for.
Okay.
But that's too long. It won't. It'll be too late by then. It won't make any difference.
Because I have a theory.
Yeah, the federal. Yeah.
Oh, you're frozen.
There's another federal election for the. Sorry, the federal election's coming. I think it's going to be March. March is the federal election. I think it's coming soon.
Yeah, because I have a theory about them. They want to blame the politicians that sits now. They want to implement as many rules as they can. Because I've seen puppets being in place everywhere. You have. Now I'm gonna name names, but I hope you forgive me. Biden, and you have Bozo the clown in the UK. You have all these puppets. You have Merkel in Germany, and it's time for a change, and everybody wants change. So I think right now they're just putting the blame on all these politicians that's all over the world, and when it's time, they're just gonna put everything aside, have election, and put these people out and blame them for everything that's happened and say, we didn't do it. It was these bad politicians over here. We are the opposition. We are much better. We are the right paradigm. And all of a sudden, when people are awake, they have no one to blame because the sitting government is gone. you know. So yeah,
Yeah, that illusion's everywhere, mate. That's here as well. Well, we've
yeah,
got there's a lot of minor parties that people are supporting and following, and a lot of them speak a lot of truth, and they give interviews and public speeches at rallies as well, and people are buying it and believing them and thinking they're going to be an alternative. But the problem is they're
yeah.
not united. They're all divided. They're all divided, and people are going to go one way or the other. But it won't matter who you vote for because none of them can get power because they won't get enough of the vote. If you believe voting actually makes a difference, which I don't, but we'll just
They
pretend that
don't.
it does for a minute.
They
I'm
don't.
playing devil's advocate here for a second. We'll just pretend that it does count. Yeah, none of them can collect enough votes to gain power, so they all have to give preferences to one of the major parties, which there's only two of basically, which is the same in every corporation, otherwise known as countries, all over the world. It's a two-party system, and all if we can't stop that, we're never going to get anywhere. We're just wasting our time. It's just a total
Yeah,
energy stealing exercise.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy that people still are buying into this political system. You know, because you basically, I don't know how it is in your country, but basically all over the world, you have a red and a blue block by now. You have two
Oh yeah.
choices. You know, you can choose between these guys, or you can choose between these guys, and under those guys is everybody else. And it's amazing that people can't
It's a
see by
circus.
now. Yeah, that we chose
Uh,
these guys. These guys fucked up real bad. So I had to go with these guys. Because these guys were
yeah.
worthless, and I have to go with these guys. And when these guys fucks up, oh my god, my only choice is those guys who
It's
are already
your,
fucked
your
up.
choice is your,
you
cho-
know?
your choice. Your choice is Bozo or Krusty.
Yeah,
They're your choices.
yeah. But the problem is when you lose your second choice, when your first choice loses and your second choice loses, you don't have a plan C. You have to go back with plan A. you know and that's the rumble.
It's
You
just a
go,
revolving door,
yeah, and
and
people
it's
don't
the
stop
illusion.
and
Yeah,
say,
it's the
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I
Well,
know.
if why
It's
people
just an
don't
illusion. Yeah.
check themselves and say, we already tried those guys 3 times and it didn't work. My god,
Right.
get past it by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
I
let's
can
see. The
understand that.
definition of insanity is
Yeah.
the definition isn't the definition of insanity repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting things to change. You
Mm.
know, it's just it's
It's
ridiculous.
desperation.
Sure.
People are desperate to change, so they're desperate to just change it to anything. Okay, we don't trust these guys over here, but that they can only be better than the guys we have now. So that's how we're gonna roll. I'm gonna vote for that guy.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think a lot of people are past that. Yeah. Most people are past that now, but they still have hope that a minor party, that aren't going to get anywhere because there's so many of them and they're all divided. If they all
Mm.
united and came together and formed one party, and they all stood together for freedom, they can have their different ideas or whatever. But if they all actually join together, then we could change the system. But it's never going to happen. Because a
You know what?
lot of them are wolves in sheep's clothing, mate. They're not
The
really who they say they
system
are.
has changed and is so corrupt by now that we have to tear it down and build a new one. That's just the way it
Yeah,
is.
it's the only way.
You,
It's the only way.
yeah, you have to. Sometimes you just have to. I don't know. I can't come up with a good metaphor, but sometimes you have to kill the cow.
Let
Just
Babylon burn. Let
yeah,
Babylon burn. Just let it burn,
exactly.
mate.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to take the necessary evil and say, okay, I just have to cut off the head and let it be done with. I don't know where it's gonna lead us, but it's better than what we have now. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
I gotta
philosophy.
go, mate.
Yeah,
I keep,
it was good to have
I
you
gotta,
always.
yeah, I gotta help my
Yeah,
missus. She's not happy with me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that
But it's
has
been
to
a good
be
chat, mate.
taken care of as well.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
you, mate. You're doing a great job.
yeah.
I love
You
everybody
too.
here.
It was
And
nice
mate,
to hear
yeah.
from you, and I would love to see you grow even bigger than you are now. So I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your numbers.
I'm not worried about that, mate. No, I'm just here to support everybody, and
Yeah,
spread the love, man. And
that's
keep
what
the
we're here
energy
for,
high.
man. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, Love you all, mate. Thanks, brother. Have a good
yeah.
one.
You too. Yeah, that was good news, wasn't it? I love to hear when things are working, and it doesn't work in my country, and it doesn't work in Rotterdam or Austria right now, but it seems to be working as it's supposed to in Victoria, and we can only feel good about that. Uh, yeah, another good conversation. I'm a happy man. I could stop here, but you know what? I'm gonna try again. Maybe I can get one more guy or girl before we go tonight. But yeah, for those who have joined in, Stacy, my good friend Stacy, has dropped by. Is there anybody else I haven't said hello to? Crystal Shaman is here. Um, then I think I've said hello to most of you. Martin Haley has been here all night. Ooh. So yeah, what do I want to say? Yeah, he's a good guy. He has his finger on it, and he know what to look for. So we're all in the same boat. And I'm just so happy to hear that it's working out in Australia, because Australia is a big ass country. And if they can get ripples all over the country over there, it's gonna make ripples through the rest of the world. So I'm hopeful. So yeah, let me. I wanted to play something, but fuck it, let's do it. I don't know if I'm gonna get a strike for this, but we're so late. If the algorithm is listening by now, let it be so. I'm gonna play a interview with with a famous rapper from the United States. This is back from 1993. Uh, this is a young rapper, and back then, rappers had a bad reputation. But I want to listen. I want you to listen to this guy and just feel the intelligence by it, and the thought process behind it. You know, um, but this is much about race. It's about black and white. If you can take that out and just replace it with what we're seeing now about truth and deception, and just listen to what he has to say. I think I think you're gonna find what he's saying is very chilling. So I'm gonna play it. It's a bit long, so I'm just gonna just ram through it as best that I can. What is that, Crystal Shaman? Just take down video and edit it out, then repost your live from today back on. Yeah, I'm not that technical, so I have to. So you want me to show it now and then take it down and re-upload it? Is that it? Without it, so the live stays. Yeah, you know what? I don't give a shit. If I get a strike, I get a strike. You know. That's how we roll. You know. I know where you're at. I'm gonna find you. So I'm gonna try and find it right here. There we go.
You're watching Never Seen Before, a bunch of exclusive.
So that's exactly what I'm doing, showing you in that mirror till you get your hair together.
Okay, we're rolling. Okay, Cube, you know there's a lot of controversy. You got the Newsweek magazine with some of the legal difficulty that some of the rap stars have recently gotten into. I've been trying to do this story for 3 months on ABC, and it wasn't until it starts hitting that they're interested in doing it. What do you think about the controversy that is now surrounding the music and what appears to be a new backlash against it?
Well, you know, we've always had opposition because we are distributing information, and the big distributors of information don't like when you distribute uncut information, especially to their children.
What do you mean by uncut?
Uncut, meaning without going through the censor, you know, that this interview might go through, or without being on the editing board, you know, without white people making the decisions on what's being heard, you know, and it's nothing but the truth. And I have to remind America that all of these incidents with the rappers are just allegations. No one's been convicted yet. So, you know, they was just ready with their guns, you know. As soon as an opening came in, all the critics just ran in that opening, and no convictions are made on any of these people, you know, just allegations.
But you know the correlation that people are saying. They're saying that, okay, they sing about this stuff. They sing this gangster rap. They must be gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Bodega Radio, do you honestly tell me you don't know who this guy is? This was the biggest rapper, you know, back in the late 80s and the start of 90s. This is Ice Cube. This is the rap version of Martin Luther King. You know, this guy has an opinion on everything. So just listen to what he has to say.
Right.
Well, I don't think Al Pacino's a gangster. He does Scarface, and, you know, so, you know, why me? You take a person like, you know, I just don't like the hypocrisy. You know, you take a person like what they call Stormin' Norman Schwarzkopf. He's responsible for way more deaths than Snoop Doggy Dogg is alleged to be responsible for. But he's a hero. So when is killing right? You know, and when do we look at these people as heroes? You know, these are our heroes in the street because they're brothers who are telling us the real deal when no one won't.
I want you to pay attention to what he's going to say now. This is us, you know. He's going to talk about his community. He's going to talk about the guys around him that gets him, that understands him, and the rest of the world doesn't understand what he's saying and doing and trying to perceive, you know. So just listen and imagine it's us 30 years later, you know.
News media has their 7-minute skit on what's the real deal. And the rappers give you a whole hour on what's the real deal. And theirs are way more authentic than the ABC or any other networks put together.
Is it authentic about all of Black America or just a segment of Black America? I mean, my concern is that white kids that are buying this stuff, a lot of the music reinforces negative stereotypes, that blacks are violent, that they disrespect women, that they kill each other, that they use bad language, and that's supposed to be the black reality.
Well,
Does that concern you?
That's just a result that we don't have a lot of media outlets, because the white community is way more violent than the black community on a bigger level. You talk on black violence, look at Bosnia-Herzegovina. It's not a black face nowhere in there except in the UN. But and white people disrespect their women on a bigger level than black people ever could do. It's a white man that says, well, a woman only makes 71 cents when I make $1. That's nothing black got to do with that right there. So the kids today are really not concerned on really white people endorsing who we are. We're not concerned about that in '93, and I think that we really need to refocus as a community and could care less who looks bad upon us, because it doesn't make a difference. White people have really never helped our situation. Matter of fact, they was founders in putting us in this situation, so their endorsement shouldn't matter in 1993.
So you don't care what they think?
Not at all.
What do you think the appeal of the music is to the 70% of the market that is white that buys it?
The appeal is the reality of it. Everybody likes the truth. The truth is good for your brain. And in a society that feeds you so many lies, which doesn't help you grow as an individual at all, this is uncut, raw truth. Why do people watch Cops? Because they can see the truth. They don't want to see reenactments no more, when this is showing you the real deal. And that's what the rappers are providing for the people, the real deal. And matter of fact, some of the white kids are sick of their fathers telling them about the community. They want to hear what's the problems themselves, because they're problems. It's not like, like we're putting a bad front in for the community. The community is going to all hell because poverty and frustration does not mix. And when you have that time bomb, it blows up like it did in April of 1992. So, the kids are starting to say, look, Pops, all that stuff you were saying, put that aside. We're becoming their heroes. And that's really why the media is in a frenzy, because white kids are taking Bon Jovi and all these clowns off their wall, putting up Ice Cube, Public Enemy, and then they're starting to listen to what we have to say, because it's not all on the gangster tip.
Look, replace gangster, with conspiracy theorist, and replace, white and black between sheep and humans, it's the same picture. Just imagine it's a different era, and yeah, he's talking about truth, and he's talking about a community and young people, reacting to the message, and it's just amazing to hear how awake this guy is without knowing what we know.
A lot of it is really political, and that's where the problem stems.
Okay, I'm sinking it in. It's I'm listening. What about the issue of women? Women are denigrated, and we listened to that call-in show. A lot of women are really upset, and I go into the high schools, and young girls resent being called bitches when they walk down the hall like this is cool, right? Because these guys want to emulate you all. And
well, my answer on that is that I only call them how I see them. If you come to me like a man, like when you walked in, I said, how you doing? Man. Or you come to me like a sister, I'm going to say, how you doing, sister? But if you come to me another way, I have to speak on that too. I only speak on the women that influence the community, because sex influenced this community, It's why everybody want that Benz, so they can have the girls look. So I have to speak on that, but I also speak about the brothers that influence the community and call them suckers if they act like it, And my philosophy is you throw a rock in a pack of dogs, and the only one hollers is the one that got hit.
What does that mean?
That means if you hit by something I say, you're the only one that's hollering. But if you're not hit, you don't holler. So evidently, in my records, they see themselves and they say, "Wait a minute, that's not right. That's not right." But the ones that don't see themselves say, "Okay, he ain't talking about me." And if you see yourself in my records, you definitely better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You see?
That's your song?
Definitely.
That's your song.
That's one
Check
of my
yourself before you.
Yes.
Okay, now that's supposed to be a positive rap song, right?
It is a positive rap song.
Okay, why is it positive?
Because you check yourself before you wreck yourself. If you're doing something crazy, you need to check the way you're doing it before you end up behind bars or in the ground. Very positive.
So it's almost a warning. I mean, you're speaking.
Yeah, it's almost a warning. And you got to understand that rap music has some... It's a music about boasting and bragging, too, just like the people on the basketball courts, you know. Just like when Clinton bragged that he has his NAFTA agreement getting over. You know, he sits in there with the old boys and brag about that, you know. So we brag about the things that we know, you know. So rap has a little ego in there, too, a little, you know, and it's a little male chauvinist if a male is singing, but a woman will get down and tell the real on the women's side of things. So it has a definite balance.
Would you say it
Like
has
we were talking about
value?
earlier, you know,
yeah.
ego. Check yourself
But you
before you
have
wreck
heard
yourself.
some that you might not think has some redeeming. I mean, do you defend all rap music?
Well, I defend the right to say it, but I also understand that, you know, you can't weigh a comic book like you do a newspaper. You know what I'm saying? But the comic book, just because it's a lot of shooting and killing, that don't mean it shouldn't be printed. But you can't just say, "Oh, okay." You can't hold that next to a newspaper who has the so-called truth in it about the stories. You can't weigh them together. It's two different denominations of rap music. Just like there's two denominations of Christianity, or a few or several of religions. You know, everything is not the same.
So you can make distinctions between good stuff,
And stuff.
silly stuff,
Yeah,
bad stuff.
definitely.
So like any other musical genre, there's the good and some bad stuff.
There's the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh, I love that.
What
Just
do you
like
think
everywhere
about
else, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
efforts to
Love that.
stop playing it on the radio? What?
We didn't never need that. When I first came out, we sold 1 million records before radio ever even touched us. That to me is not a concern with my form of rap music, if they play it or not. You know, who really cares? You know, we still got fans out there that'll buy it. Our records have stickers on them that advise children not to buy them. We have two versions. Most of the hardcore groups have two versions. A clean version that you can buy if your kids ain't Ice Cube and you're not with it, or the hardcore version for the people who want the uncut. You know, they got Scarface in the theaters, but they also got a TV, made-for-TV version. Same thing with the rap music, you know. So we've bent over backwards to the concerns of the parents, but they want us to alter our feelings, you know. We get to put our feelings and make them public. A lot of people feel the way we feel, but they just scared to make them public. The youth are not scared.
The other thing is, I was going to say, you've got a baby on the way and two young sons.
See what he's doing?
Do you want them hearing some of this stuff?
I
Preaching.
want them to hear everything.
Even
Because
though
when they
he
walk out my door,
disguises
they're
it
not
with
sheltered from
bitches and fuck
anything.
you and all that.
You can't
he's
prepare
preaching.
people for war if you're gonna show them Barney. You know what I'm saying? And when they step out the door, anything goes in this world. So I want them to be exposed to as much things that they're going to be exposed to when they grow up. So it won't shock them, frighten them, and they know how to deal with every situation, good or bad.
What if you're...
I want you to hear that
That's
again.
to alter our feelings, not with it, or the hardcore version for the people who want public. Hear everything.
This is what
Because when they walk out my door,
says
they're
about
not
the
sheltered from
kids, you
anything.
know.
You can't prepare people for war if you're gonna show them Barney. You know what I'm saying? And when they step out the door, anything goes in this world. So I want them to be exposed to as much things that they're going to be exposed to when they grow up. So it won't shock them, frighten them, and they know how to deal with every situation, good or bad.
What
I
if...
want to address that. You know, you don't bring up your kids, you know, you don't encourage your kids to live in this bubble, this safe world. You know, the only way you're gonna prepare your kids for the world they're living in is by telling it how it is, and that's what he's talking about. He's talking about you want your kids to see reality. You know, stop trying to make this bubble for your kids where they're rolled up in bubble plast and can't hurt themselves, and oh my god, I'm so scared for my kids and stuff like that. Let kids be kids. Show them what they need to see. You know, prepare them for the life that's gonna get. You know, so I've never really listened to this guy, but
Your
I get him.
little son,
I really
I'm
get
playing
him.
devil's advocate. What if one of your little sons came up and said to your wife,
And I want to say another thing, and I'm going to keep repeating that until we're done. You know, this guy is only 24 years old. Listen to what he's saying, contra what 24-year-old people now are doing and saying. You know, this guy, he wanted to make an impact. He's not just there to make music and make money. He wanted to do something, you know, and that is rare these days. We don't have that no more. Now we only have people who want to make it to the top, you know. They don't have any message. So,
wife,
that's what
Mama
he can
suck
do.
my... You wouldn't want him talking to your wife like that, would
I wouldn't talk to my mother like that.
But if he hears some of this stuff,
Well,
If he
that's the thing.
hears some-
That's where I come in as a parent and monitor what my kids know and make sure my kids understand the definition of these words, because these words are used. They're part of our language. They're used in society every day. They're used from the crack house to the boardroom. They're used. So they're not like words that we made up. We don't come from another planet. We're made in America. You know, we're children of women. You know, we're women's children. So, you know, if I make a cake and it don't come out right, do you get mad at the cake or the cake maker? You see what I'm saying? So we don't pop up. You know, we don't pop up. So I have to explain to my kids what certain words mean, when they're appropriate, when they're not appropriate.
You
just
would
like
do
any
that?
other parent, of course. I'm not sitting here using profanity and cussing. It's not the
No.
appropriate form. But on my records, I want to be as open, and I do some records without profanity. It's whatever I feel inside.
do you think it's a true art form that is out of the black community?
It's much more than an art form. This is art. This is the only way that the kids in L.A. know what's happening with the kids in Houston. And the kids in Houston know what's going on with the kids in New York. This is the only way we can get some kind of unity, because it's uncut and it's raw. And I'm just distributing information. And that's what the problem is. Nobody, the black community, we don't have any methods or any ways to distribute uncut information. You know. And this is one of the ways we can, through rap music.
We talked to someone who told us this is like the ancient...
Just listen to this woman. She really can't stand what he's standing for. You know, she wanna duck this guy at all costs. You know, and he's just dodging every question that they have. You know, that she has. You know,
troubadours that would go around, and when there weren't printing presses and in the villages there would be people and balladeers that would come. Do you see it the same kind of way as spreading that kind of...
Oh yeah, we definitely spreading the message. And we will come together. It looks ugly now, but we'll come together as a people when we all know the same information. See, that's how they keep us divided. They stripped us of all our information and reprogrammed us with their information, which are half truths and half, false. So we running around. We're like a chicken with our head cut off. The rappers, we believe we have our pulse. We can put their head back on the chicken. We can walk right.
You got all these funny metaphors. And, let me ask you about the influence of white record promoters and record label people. From what I gather, a lot of the white owners of record companies have said, make it harder, make it nastier, make it dirtier, that they're...
Yeah, Queen Radiant, you just have to think of this as another time, you know. It's the same problem in another area, you know, in another era. He don't know what we know, you know. He sees the same problem as we are seeing. He's only deterring it another way, you know, because he feels like a minority, just like we do. The expression is the same. He don't want to hurt anybody. He don't want to be, you know, he don't want to be different. But the world is making him different, you know. And there was a time where black people were different, you know. And so it's not about, this is about black and white, but it could just as good be 2020, you know, and be sheep and unsheeps, you know, sheeps and people, you know. So yeah, it's just an era, and that era is ended, and now we have this era, but it complies.
encouraging that kind of thing because they think that will sell even more. And we're kind of excited that Snoop Doggy Dogg got into the trouble because, wow, that's going to boost record sales. What white hand is at play in this stuff?
As far as Ice Cube's concerned, a white hand is never in play with anything that comes out of my mouth. I can't speak for other artists because I'm not in there on those meetings. I'm not saying it don't happen because I believe that it do, you know. And if that's happening for artists that's influenced by the record companies to say what he really don't feel, then he's definitely a fool for putting out material that he doesn't feel and he has to go and take the heat for. But I don't allow the record company to come to the studio when I'm in the studio, and I don't allow them to tell me what I can or can't put on the record. When I hand them a record, that's what they better put out, because the day they don't put that out is the day Ice Cube will go completely off. You know, with my lawyers coming in and going after them.
Okay, so you really present them, but you're big enough to do that. What about somebody
When I was small, I did it.
Huh?
When I wasn't quote unquote big, when I was just an artist coming up, I wouldn't let them dictate to me what kind of records to put out.
Who's making the most money in this stuff?
Well,
are the artists making the money?
Oh, of course not. You know. But we doing this interview. You're not making the most money out of this interview. ABC
I get one.
You know, so everybody, unless you're on your own business, unless you're on your own distributing, unless you're on your own trucking, unless you're on your own retail stores, you're never gonna make the most money. But see, what I got to give is deeper than money. See, they make money off of it, you know.
But doesn't that upset you that whites are profiting off the bad experiences of the black community?
We distribute information. So they might make the paper dollar, which in 1993 ain't worth too much. But I get the mental money.
Listen.
I get to spread what I think to other black kids. And when we get that unity, we can make tons of money. When we have that unity where I trust this black man and he trusts me, and we can pool our dollars and we can be an economic strength. So they make the money for now. That's all right, you know. But
you got the mental money.
I got the minds. I'd rather have the minds than the money.
Minds over money.
What about the issue of whether violence
Another song.
is increased by what these kids see in the videos and the guns and the stuff like that? Are you thinking this is having any impact? Don't you think that a kid listening to a radio station that is talking about zooming in the boom boom all day long and shaking butts, and isn't that going to put sex on the minds of kids that may not otherwise, or don't let anybody diss you and they're thinking, I gotta go take care of this person?
Well, see, all rap music is not about that. You've just taken a section of it. Just like all movies aren't pornos. It's just a section of the movie, and all movies aren't rated R. So you're just taking a portion and exposing that. The kids of America is violent because America is violent. She deals with her problems with the gun. So how you expect the kids of America not to do the same thing? There's violence in South Africa and in other places in Africa because of the gun. Rap music ain't got nothing to do with that. So they invented the gun, and they've made them very accessible in our community, easy to get to. You know, why is nobody at the Rifle Association talking to them about the guns in our community? No, see, you want to come to the bottom of the barrel. Even if we stop doing the music today, wouldn't nothing change, because we still have these forces. We still have poverty, we still have frustration, we still have weapons. And there you have it.
It's true. It's true. And you're right. People lump all rap music together. I'm as guilty of it as everybody else. Mm. And thank you for correcting me on that.
She's a liar.
No problem.
She's been trying to diss this guy for
I promised you would.
This is great. Just quickly, because you sort of said this overall, what is the
with the allegations with the rappers? Everybody, they're not sheltered from society just because they're a rapper. Just like presidents are. Presidents fall by the wayside too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you ain't gonna clump all presidents together and say, well, let's not elect no presidents because of Nixon. You know what I'm saying? So, with rappers, you shouldn't condemn all rappers because a few of our brothers got in trouble, and we'll deal with that. We'll handle that, and you know, we'll learn from it, and we'll grow as an industry, you know, and as a family. So what we're just trying to do is be heard.
Do you think you'll ever be too old to rap? Do you think you'll be rapping when you're 30? We really have.
Is that right?
Because I hated it. Okay.
Is that right?
I have a 13-year-old son. I hated it.
But you got to tune in because he.
Yes, but some of the stuff is so nasty. I don't want him.
Come on, when you was 13, your mother said, "Of course, as long as this is not. What is this gonna be? 3 seconds."
Yes, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be the best.
Okay, I mean, all right, it'll be the best 3
but
seconds.
But it was important for me to get in a name person.
Yes.
We talked to some young rappers last night. Somebody's beeping in. It's gotta go.
No, calm.
He's done with her. You know, he don't give a shit. I love this guy. You know, I'm gonna quit it right there. You know, I just wanted to share this. I saw this like 5 days ago or something like that, and it just captured me right away. This guy, and I repeat, is 24 years old. Is rapping every day about bitches, hoes, and sucking dicks, you know? Just listen to what this guy says, you know? He has a message. And yeah, he's coming out with the way he knows how. He's being aggressive, you know? He knows, he understands that you need to be aggressive to get your message out there, you know? He has this knowledge, you know, and he's only 24 years old, because you can listen. Nobody who has just listened to that guy can say he's just another rapper who's gonna get gold teeth in his mouth and want to fuck your mother, you know? You can listen that he's not that guy. You can hear it, you know? And that's the point. The point is that 30 years ago, we had young people who were trying to change the system. And that somehow has perished during this time, you know. Even though you may not like his songs, you may not like what he stands for, you know, but he understands that is a necessary evil for him to do the changes that he wants. And I, for one, admire him for it. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that is something that made goosebumps on my arms when I watched it, and I wanted to share it with you. Yeah, it's getting late here. I'm gonna drop that link and see if anybody want to join me. Uh, Otherwise, I'm gonna end it in like 10 or 15 minutes. But what is this? Yeah, it's Ice Cube. Yeah. Welcome. I was stunned by your name. That's some name. uh, and welcome. I guess you're on the Globe Live tour as well. So yeah, that was Ice Cube, and I'm gonna make when I'm done here, maybe tomorrow, I will make another video of an issue that I think is important. Because I see a world now that don't understand the system they live in. People are too far up this system's ass to see what's really going on. Oh, that came out very wrong, but you know what I mean. You have people who can't see the forest from trees. They have to be. They have to be a part of the club that they feel are the trendsetters in this world. It's being modern. It's being what do you call it? It's being it's popular. It's popular. It's popular to be a part of. Everybody wants to be everybody else. That's what I want to say. I just can't find the right words now. But everybody wants to be like everybody else. Nobody wants to be unique anymore. Nobody wants to be themselves. They want to be somebody else. And I have a big issue with that, and I have for a long time. Even when I was in here starting doing YouTube, I was trying to make a difference. I was trying to be unique. And you know what I found out while I was trying to be unique? I found out that I was just like everybody else. And I don't want to be like everybody else, you know? And the best way not to be like everybody else is by to be yourself. Just trust in who you are and what you want and what you're doing, and everything is gonna be okay. Um, yeah, I think that was that. But yeah, it's always good to see new people. So welcome. No, normally I have a nickname for everybody, but I have a tough time making a nickname for Biochemie, Weatherlicht, Widerlicht, Corona auf uduse.com. I don't know. I just call you movie because film means movie. Are you German? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? It sounds German or maybe Netherlands. So yeah, I'm. Oh, Martin, you're Haley's Comet, right? Well, it is now, you know. So, but yeah, I like something short, I like to call people by something, Algorithms too long for me. I call him Mike because that suits me. And we have well, Bossacino is a good name. I love that. No need to change that. Matt Pyman. I'm rambling. I'm rambling. Let me get back on track. What did we start with today? Today we were starting talking about how you can change your reality and the world around you. And then I still want to address that, because everything is changing so fast and everybody is just trying to keep up with what's going on. Stop and stick to what you are and what you know. Stop trying to fit in a world that you don't understand anyway. A world that's changing so rapidly that you can't keep up. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to keep up with this system. They have already planned 100 years ahead, you know, and they will always be one step ahead of you. So stop trying to catch up and start just being yourself, trust in who you are, trust in what you want to be, and work on it. Just work your way back, because we have been told what to do our entire life. We have been told what to believe our entire life, and most of it is lies. So everything you're trying to be and everything you're trying to accomplish is basically based on a lie. So throw it away. Throw all that shit away and find out who you are and what you want and just do it. And if the world don't like you for it, so be it. Stick with your guns. And yeah, keep your sanity. You know? That's what I'm doing. You have been fooled your entire life to be somebody else. Get back to your roots. What did you like when you were kids? What did you dream of when you were grown up? And then ask yourself, was it your own thoughts or was it something you saw on television or cartoons or whatever? Find out the true you, not the one you think you ought to be, not the one they want you to be, but what you want, you know. And that's me. I found my thing. I'm here, sitting here talking. And if any of you knew me like 5 or 10 years ago, you wouldn't say that this was possible. I'm not this guy. I've never been a speaker. I've never sit and be that guy everybody else listen to. I've always been the guy who sits in the corner and take in all the informations, and then pass on small bits and pieces here to my closest ones that they can use. I've never been a speaker. I've never been the one who people listen to. I am the listener. I'm the one that listens to everything. So just do it. I know it's scary. I think it's scary too. I still do. And I thought it was even scarier 12 months ago. But hey, life is scary. It's just a part of it. But if you lose yourself, because you wouldn't be here if you haven't had a glimpse into yourself and say, I want something better. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening to me. That's why you're talking to each other in the chat. It's because you all agree that you want something better than what we have now. So take it. Just the world is yours. The world is ours. No, I want to rephrase that. The world is ours. You know, if we want it, we can take it. We just need to get back to that point, the starting point where everything went sour. And in most of the people around today, it's their entire life. Some of us are old enough to see the perception before it happened, but people below 30, they're born into this media propaganda, uh, and they don't stand a chance unless you and I wake them up. But I believe after listening to a guy like Ice Cube, that we can wake these guys up. He's still in a process. When he sit there talking and preaching all these wise words, he's still in a process. He's still growing every day. You know, he don't know what's going on, but he has a path. He has a message, and he does whatever it takes to bring it out there. And that's what we need to do. You know, be aggressive, know what we want, and go get it. You know, so I guess that's gonna be the final words for today. Trust in yourself and trust in the people around you. You know, because if you trust them, there's a good chance they trust you. And this is, as I talked to Ken about earlier, it's about trust. It's about trusting the information you get. You can talk all day to somebody you don't know. If this guy don't trust you, he's not gonna listen. It's never gonna get deep enough inside his brain to be a fact, because what we're saying is is so controversial that it needs trust to be powerful. If you just go out there and preach globe lies, you preach corona hoaxes, and you preach chemtrails, and you're being in people's faces with all these facts and truths and theories, they're gonna it's never gonna sink in, because they're just gonna put up their hands and protect themselves, just like we do this as well. And the sheeps are doing that too, because what we know and what we are talking about has the potential of hurting them and destroying their world. So of course they're protecting themselves. It's a natural instinct. you know and I think we need to realize that, and we need to build trust before we are able to plant the right seeds. So that is the message for me today. Go out there, see who you meet in everyday life, see who you are able to I hate to use the word, but that's what we're doing. Manipulate. You can manipulate people into seeing what you think, what you believe in. You know, and I think that is important, because you are fighting a worldwide propaganda campaign. You're fighting, well, let's say 100 years of knowledge. You know, everything these people know is wrong, and you have to fight that. And the only way you're going to do it is by trusting them. And it doesn't only have to be family and friends, but that is a good place to start. But it can also be guys that you see every day. It could be I'm talking to clerks and waitresses and places I see every day. Every day I go the same place, and it's a 7-Eleven, and I buy my coffee and my croissant. I buy that every single day. And I'm in that store at the same time every day, seeing the same people. And I can build that trust. I can do a joke, and I can get inside people's head. And when they feel they trust me, I can plant some of those seeds. And that's what it's all about, you know? So that is the word for from me today. I want to end with a good phrase. Don't trust anybody before you trust yourself. There you go. That is the wisdom from today. And on that note, I wanna end it. And I wanna say a little prayer for what's gonna happen in Europe in the next couple of weeks, and in my own country as well. And I just hope we get through this winter all right, everybody. So I love you all, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you on the flip side, and have a good night and a good weekend. I love you all. Peace out. The rebel warrior is on the run.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long.
You see, I prayed on things, and then I prayed on them, and I took it to the corner. God paid off then. The destruction wasn't even on my radar then, and my heart was black. It was Darth Vader then. It was drums to the bums, G-packs to the OGs. The money came to me, I sat back with my cold D's. Money changed hands and moved on like a cold breeze, and I ain't give a fuck about death or an OD. Mommy always in my ear, saying that I didn't care, but I ain't going back to being broke like this was yesteryear. The plan is to try to be out in less than a year. No drugs, no thugs, no weapons in here. You see, I'm trying to get out, ma, but I feel trapped. What employer gonna hire me when I sell crack? I'm not fully rehabilitated, I fell back, and regret is a motherfucker, run, tell that.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. Tempt us, lead us to the edge. Watch the wise turn into fools. The greatest lie ever been told is the one closest to truth. I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. I'm gone.
Yeah, you see, I prayed on things, and then I prayed on y'all. My intent was to never get paid off, y'all. When I was young, I saw politicians of all stripes, but all I saw was lies in their eyes, and it's not right. I said when I get older, I'm gonna change shit. Take the welfare system and rearrange shit. Years later, I'm quietly moving up the ladder, trying hard, realizing that it doesn't matter. My wife told me, baby, money doesn't buy elections. Money doesn't buy votes, it just buys attention. I kissed her on her head and told her she was right, but she couldn't understand and see the coldness of the plight. Couldn't understand why it's so cold for me at night, cause political bribery just hold me in a vice. But there's always implicitly some string that's attached by a motherfucker think he got wings on his back. You ain't an angel, pop, you working for the devil. The nightmare of money to lead would be a rebel. I did all of you dirty, so I should've gone to jail. I took your fucking government and put it up for sale. Look, American democracy has been hacked by the corrupt paradigm, that's a supreme fact. And every word that I said in the song, I've been working for the devil too long, and now I'm gone.
I've been working for the devil too long. I've been working for the devil too long. Tempt us, lead us to the edge. Watch the wise turn into fools. The greatest lie ever been told